Beautifully done. As I said, once again, my name is Ted Opitz. I'm your MC for this afternoon, and I was honored that Mohammed asked me to do this for him today, because I think this is a place that has a vision. It's a gathering place that most of you know, just only a couple of years ago, was essentially an abandoned building. Now, Mohammed didn't want me to say too much about him, and I completely lied, because I'm going to do it anyway. Because Mohammed, along with his wife Nazi, have shown tremendous generosity, tremendous vision, and if I may say, in the greatest Canadian context that can really be conjured, is to bring people together of all races, of all cultures, of all ethnicities, of all religions, into one place where they can work together, where they can learn together, where they can develop together, where they can build an incubator for innovation, and just exercise as they do with yoga and some of these other programs here, and to bring seniors and to bring youth together so that they can interact and they can understand each other. It takes somebody very, very special to do that, to make this a labor of love. This was not an easy thing to do. Not an easy thing to do at all. And as we can see on this first year anniversary, what a tremendous, tremendous facility this is. Would you agree? So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask for the microphone Mr. Mohammed Islami.
Thank you very much, Ted. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I would like to welcome you all to the celebration of Cyrus Community Center first anniversary. Friends, we have made it through our first year. Please allow me to thank those who have made this project, this community center, a success. Firstly, my wife, who has been supportive of this project since I conceived of this in 2014. And I am counting for her support for another 20 short years. The member of Board of Directors of Cyrus Foundation. We have here Sally Spencer, Josie LaFontaine, Megan Rankin, David Walsh, Kaveh Shahruz, Medad Arjmandi, and Harold Green, and of course, Stuart Sherman. But a special thanks goes to our president, Mr. Medad Arjmandi, and his wife, Dr. Ghazal Hashemi, for their generous support and their dedication for the past 12 months. Of course, there are more people that I would like to thank. Mr. Fruit Malikzadeh, Lagman Azar, Dr. Bani Jamali, Mr. Taj Dawlati, Saeed Qadimi, Tina, Rose, Andrew, Omid, Babak, Gary Gladstone, who is here with us, and many, many more. In addition, I'm pleased to welcome some special guests here today. The Honorable Peter Kent, the MP of Thornhill. Peter, maybe you could go. And our hard-working MP, Mr. Ali Ehsasi. Ali, where are you? MP Rob Oliphant apologized, he couldn't make it, but he has had a great contribution to this and he has been supportive. And of course, we got the jewel of our community, member of Provincial Parliament, Mr. Michael Parsall. And of course, newly re-elected Mayor of Markham, Frank Scarpati. Cyrus Center has been a focal point and youth hub for York region, for people from all cultures and backgrounds to get together and connect. For the past 12 months, we have had programs and activities that shows we need a place when we all can get together, connect, and be inspired. Since we have opened this center 12 months ago, we have had number of programs, workshops, such as music, arts, cultural events, educational programs, and many more. And it keeps growing. Through collaborative efforts, we are offering a full-time classes to different kids with some learning challenges, and that's a full-time programs. And we have been offering programs such as mental health seminars and workshops. And also working with Petrol College and VTRAC Robotics, we are in the process of providing technical, data science, and robotic courses. Of course, for everyone, but in particular for those who are new to this country to upgrade their job credentials. We have made major efforts and investment to set up Cyrus Art Gallery, just across the hall from here, that to support young artists to display photography, painting, sculptures, the way of supporting their work. A summer camp, several international music nights are two more highlights to mention. For the upcoming year, for the next 12 months, we will continue to do what we have been doing already, but we will have a greater focus on youth leadership and mentoring. We believe young people have enormous potential and an opportunity to drive progress and innovation. We will provide them with a home and a center, an opportunity where they can get engaged with more leadership skills and the creation of AI innovation. This will help them to combat, to fight the common isolation they are all stuck with this multimedia. We are also in the process of starting Cyrus Multicultural Research Library, both hard copies and virtual books. I would like to invite you all to participate in this great initiative. We at Cyrus Foundation believe conversation, dialogue is the heart of our relationship with others. That's why we have started Cyrus Talk, which is envisioned as a Canadian version of TED Talks. That's where, as a platform, we all can get together, share experiences and life stories, and perhaps make and create more life stories. For the past 12 months, we have been trying to bring all community members together. We have had some good times and some challenging times. And we are in the process of continuing to bring more people together. And why is that we have so many friends on social media, but still feel lonely? Remember, the quality of our lives is defined by the quality of our relationship with others and our connectedness with our community. These bonds give us meaning and lead us to a greater happiness and well-being. Friends, our vision can only be possible when we all get together, when we all can participate in one of the impactful programs that this center is offering. You can participate by offering your time, your talent, or your treasure, at least one of those. Of course, it's better to offer all the three. Because remember, we will not succeed without you. We need you all. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Ted, and Mayor Scarpitti, colleagues, distinguished guests, friends. First of all, I would like to enthusiastically congratulate Mohammed and the Board of Directors for all that has been achieved in the past year since the official opening of the center. It's a true honor to be the Member of Parliament for Thornhill and to represent the Cyrus Youth Center in our Canadian Parliament. And it's an honor to convey the best wishes and greetings from the Honourable Andrew Scheer, the Leader of the Official Opposition, the Leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. Mohammed was very generous in acknowledging the essential support of the members of the board and many others across Thornhill and across our broader community in bringing the Cyrus Foundation to reality. But the truth is, it was Mohammed's determination to take the vision that he first explained to me, 4 or 5 years ago, when he walked me on a very cold winter's day through this building, wearing our coats, and he described the vision he had, but didn't leave it to others to fulfill that vision. From his own pocket, he invested in rehabilitation of this building, the heating system, the roof, which was in disrepair, the final fittings that we all see here today. And from the front of the building to the back, it does fulfill that vision that Mohammed first described. And it's more than appropriate that this center bears the name Cyrus. In honor of the great Persian king 2,500 years ago, who was known for his tolerance, for his idealistic rule, for his inclusiveness, and for his encouragement for the pursuit of wisdom and learning. From the classroom at the front of this building, where international engineers and technicians will come to be trained, to return to their countries and share some of the newest engineering technologies that we have here in Canada, to the students who will come to learn about artificial intelligence, to the art gallery, to the school behind us, the schoolrooms behind us, where autistic children are being so well served. This center, the Cyrus Youth Center, truly fulfills Mohammed's vision and his dream. And I wish you all the best, Mohammed. The slogan for today's celebration is 1 year, more than 100 accomplishments, and I know that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of accomplishments to be gained in the years to come. So thank you, and it's an honor to represent you in Parliament.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here with all of you this evening. Much like my honorable colleague Peter, I actually first heard about this initiative approximately 4 or 5 years ago. And as you can imagine, ideas, you hear a lot of ideas, especially when you're in the field that we all are, which is in the public realm. And I remember when Mr. Islami kindly explained to me his vision, I wasn't quite sure 5 years ago whether it would happen or not. But I have to say, given his single-minded devotion to this cause, he's done an incredible, incredible job. And the reason why he does it is because he's really driven and he's determined, and he wants to make sure that there are various places where all of us can come together and benefit from each other's wisdom. The only concern I have about Mr. Islami, knowing him quite well, is that he works really, really hard, and sometimes he has a hard time reaching out and saying, hey, Ali, could you help me with the X, Y, and Z? And that's because he really expects much of himself. But in addition to putting in all that time, it is so heartening to hear that he has put together such an exceptional team of individuals who are there assisting and making sure that this experience turns out to be an incredible one. The good news is, when you are instituting something of this nature, the first year, without any doubt, is the most difficult one. And I'm so incredibly happy that despite all those challenges, thanks to the efforts of many of you, this has become a reality, and I have no doubt that with every passing year, it will become more and more of a success and a hub for all of us to come together and benefit from each other's wisdom and experience and everything else that each individual member of our community has to offer. So heartfelt congratulations to Mr. Islami and the entire board for making this a reality. I have no doubt that in 20 years we will all be here to mark that happy occasion. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Salam. Durud bar shoma. So great to see all of you here, Your Worship, Mr. Kent, Mr. Esasi, and so many of our community leaders. Thank you for being here. It's a very special thanks to you because I know that without the support of the leaders, it becomes even more challenging. Like my colleagues before me alluded to this, I too heard about this story. I can tell you exactly. I probably heard it just after you guys because I remember it was in August 2015 when Mr. Islami called me about this idea that he had. And I said to him, I said, you're a very successful, smart businessman. Why would you want to get into putting even more of your time? And he said, that's exactly what I want to do, and that's exactly what I have to do. I feel like it's the right thing to do. I feel like it's a good time for me to be able to give back, and I think there's a need for it. So you did it. You did it. We had a lot of conversation about this, and this wasn't going to be an easy decision. This wasn't going to be an easy process. There was a lot of hardship, and I'll tell you guys, because I've been in contact with him throughout the entire process, as my friend Ali said, that we keep in touch with him. He's a man who takes on a lot of tasks because he likes to do a lot and give back to the community. But I'll tell you one thing. I want to leave you with this message because I think it's important for you. It took you a long time to get here, and you faced a lot of challenges and a lot of obstacles, as it was going to be the case, and you knew that. But years from now, when you see the faces of some of those young youth that are here now, develop to become future engineers, future doctors, maybe even future prime ministers or premiers or mayors, not you, you'll be done by that, Mr. Mayor. They won't replace you, don't worry. At that time, you can look back and you can say with pride that I had a lot to do with that. And we are proud of you and your accomplishments and your team for having done all of this in such short time. A huge congratulations to you, to your board. And I look at the faces and the people that are here in this room right now. It speaks a volume to your character because for them to be here to support you, it's you. It was your vision, your character, and I could not be any prouder. I do have a greeting here on behalf of Premier Ford, who couldn't be here today, and if you don't mind, I would like to read that for you. So it says, the first anniversary of the Cyrus Community Center. I'm very pleased to welcome everyone celebrating the first anniversary of the center. I want to congratulate everyone in the community and the Cyrus Foundation on this special occasion. You can be proud of the young people and what you have provided with them and the opportunities to connect with peers and mentors and strengthen their connections to the community. I also want to thank those who helped make this event a success, including everyone in attendance and in particular Mr. Mohammed Islami. I hope you have a terrific afternoon, Premier Doug Ford. Congratulations to you, my friend. I look forward to seeing you every year for the next 20, 30, 40 years. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Salam, shalom, namaste, sat sri akal, vanakkam, lehoma, ni hao, parev, mabuhay, benvenuti a tutti. Welcome to the most diverse city in all of Canada. And it's wonderful to see that diversity reflected here in the Cyrus Center. So to our MPs and MPP and to other political representatives that I think might be here from other communities, welcome one and all. Michael, I know you and your government have been having a rough time. I didn't realize it got that rough down there. So I wish you a speedy recovery because I know you haven't stopped since your operation. And thank you, Ted, for that wonderful introduction. I appreciate that. And someone who's been in the political arena knows the ins and outs of politics and the ups and downs. And I just say good luck to you in all of your future endeavors. And thank you for acknowledging the 75%, although, Mohammed, if you don't mind, afterwards, could I just meet the other 25% out in the hall? I want to know where I went wrong and just to have that discussion. But thank you, and thanks for the wonderful support. I do want to acknowledge Graham Seaman, who's here from the city of Markham and our assets department, and the great work that he and his team continue to do with facilities right across the city of Markham. And this continues to be a bit of a partnership because of the capital improvements that have been made to this building. It's reflected in sort of the arrangement that we have with the Cyrus Foundation, an acknowledgement of what they're doing with the improvements to the building. And I guess I would just say, what a difference a year makes. Because last year we were here talking about how a building had been transformed. And in a short year, we're here celebrating not just a first anniversary. You know, there's milestones of time, but time doesn't necessarily mean anything if there's no results. We're here celebrating a year of results, a year of bringing together the community and improving the quality of life in our community. And at its very essence, at its very core, it's about education, it's about enlightenment, it's about providing an incubator. But what I've loved watching and seeing in those pictures, that comes in various forms. That's about sharing ideas, that's about educating people, but recognizing that creativity and innovation just doesn't stop with trying to teach someone a particular skill. It's the embodiment of the arts and culture and the influence that has and how that advances human development. And so those of you that know Richard Florida, someone of a leader in a number of things, economics and planning and talking about what it takes to have a full community, he often speaks about the fact that he would not have had the success that he has in his life if it wasn't for the fact that someone handed him a guitar one day and opened up a whole new world. In fact, the neighborhood that he grew up in didn't have the benefit of a Cyrus Center. And had he not been handed that guitar, his path would have been quite different from the one that he later on pursued in life. So I want to say thank you for the way in which you, Mohammed, and your board of directors, and certainly all of the supporters in the community are truly enriching young lives and supporting people of all ages and all backgrounds to come together to celebrate diversity and to further advance humanity. And I think it's very appropriate, as others have indicated, that Cyrus was really named after Cyrus Cylinder, one of the oldest declaration of human rights. And that's really at the core of what this center is all about. Human rights, enlightenment, and coming together as a community to further advance people within the community, but to strengthen the core of the community. And if I could just make a couple of things, one is a bit of an announcement. I couldn't do this prior to the election, but I certainly can do it now. Every year, we do have the Mayor's Golf Tournament in the city of Markham. And I want to indicate that we will be making a contribution of up to $10,000 for your computer equipment here at the Cyrus Foundation. So to help you out in that regard, and then if I also could perhaps say in a more direct way to those in the room and to your network, Mohammed has done something here that is monumental. This does not come about easy for anyone to pull together, even with the support of his board. So I ask all of you in this room, whether it's you directly or through the network that you have, I hope you see it in both your hearts and your minds to find a way to financially support this center. Because what we have, as I said, not only a celebration of a transformation of a building, not only a very successful year and everything that's been accomplished in that year, but truly if we want the Cyrus Center to succeed for many more years to come, the foundation needs your financial support in order to succeed and to grow and to do more good things for many more years. So I salute you, Mohammed, and to everyone involved with this center for all the great work that you've done and for everything that we physically see, both in the building and in the pictures, the impact, the footprint of what you're doing here will go on for many generations to come in this community and throughout the surrounding area. So I say congratulations and thank you to everyone involved. Thank you.
So how do you do a TED Talk without a PowerPoint deck? Well, I thought that what I would do is just kind of carry on from a series of questions that people always ask me about artificial intelligence, because I'm always asked a bunch of questions that seem to follow a theme. The theme is actually a theme that I could tell you goes back to my experience in the 90s with the internet. And people were very worried about the internet and what would it do. And I remember standing in boardrooms in companies like Procter & Gamble and Unilever and various others. And they were asking me about the internet. And I was saying, you know what, you guys have to really get on board. You've got to build a website. It's 1996. Pretty soon all the consumers are going to be there. And there was a lot of doubt and a lot of worry and concern. And I see this being echoed in AI right now. And as I look across the room, I think that most of us have concerns. We've heard, and we were talking earlier about the issues around Cambridge Analytica, and everybody's probably seen the movie Terminator and worried about Skynet and the robots taking over the world. We're not there. We're very far from there. And really what we're seeing today is an evolution, and it's really the evolution of computer power. And to describe that in the simplest way, what I would say is just give you a little fact. Right now, on any given day, there's more data in megabytes or gigabytes, however you want to measure it, uploaded to YouTube than in YouTube's first year of operation. Can you imagine? So what's happening is the amount of data that we have is exploding, and the price of computing is going down. I don't know, who's got a new iPhone or a new Samsung Galaxy or whatever? This is more computing power than a classroom full of computers 20 years ago. And it's actually more computing power than landed a man on the moon by a factor of about 10,000. So when you start thinking about this, our access to this amazing technology is there. And what artificial intelligence is doing for us is really just the next evolution of what we're going to see, where we're seeing more data that needs to be crunched, more powerful computers to crunch it, and better software to be able to understand it. So what does artificial intelligence mean, really? I'm going to define that, and then I'm going to talk about what it means to Toronto and to young people. What it really means is it's a very, very small slice of what a human can do. And really that's what computers do if you think about it. If I said what's 10 plus 10, everybody does that in their head, no problem, 20, we're good, right? I'm an accountant, it might be 19 and a half. But only if there's tax advantages. The thing, though, is that what computers do is they do these repeated processes very, very quickly. And what artificial intelligence these days is doing is analyzing things very fast. So one of the technologies that we're literally pioneering out of Toronto is a concept that will allow us to take natural language that you speak, so we need a sample of about 300 to 500 words, and we can build a personality profile of you based on that. And once we have that personality profile of you, the computer can understand you, and we can understand how you think and what motivates you. Now, what are we doing with this technology? Well, there's some things that could be done that might be a little bit evil, but there's some things that we're doing that are quite amazing. So we're working with some of the largest pharmaceutical companies, the University Health Network, and the NHS, which is the National Health Services. It's kind of like OHIP for the entire country of the UK. And we're learning how people view taking their medicine, how people view surgery. Those of you who are male and getting a little older, like me, we're reading articles about prostate cancer. And one of the things, literally last Friday, I was in the UK, and we're talking to doctors there. And one of the big challenges is that there are people that they diagnose with prostate cancer, and the doctor says, we need to operate. And the person says, I read an article online that says I should wait. And so the question is, how does the doctor convince you? How do they understand you? And how do they get to match that up and give you the persuasive story that helps you understand it? And this is where things like artificial intelligence will take off. Now, what does this mean for Toronto? Well, we're in actually a very unique situation where we actually have some market-leading technology. We have some amazing universities that have incredible stuff. We have partnerships with both U of T and Ryerson University, where we have both master's, doctoral, and postdoc students working with us on developing new AI technology. And we have an ecosystem that's supported by various levels of government that are enabling this to occur. What does this mean for our children? This is an opportunity for Canada to have a very unique export. And this export is the most amazing thing of all to export because it's knowledge. It doesn't have to fit in a container. You can ship it just about anywhere. A lot of it is language independent. And yet in Canada, we have so many languages that are spoken everywhere that we can actually customize things for language as well. So we're in a very unique situation. And then as a business owner who has an international business headquartered in Toronto, what I would tell you is we make 30% more at least by selling to the US. We make 81% more by selling to the UK. We're in a very unique situation. And so our opportunity as a nation, as a group, as parents, as young people, is to actually encourage the things that we might normally fear and start thinking about them a little bit differently. In my mind, AI is one of the things that is just going to be natural. We're all used to it, and yet it's invisible to us. How many of you have asked Siri or Google or something like that for directions or to look up a recipe or something like that? Practically everybody. That's using artificial intelligence. When you think about it, when you say, where's the bank? Well, I could say, Sally approached the bank, and I would then ask you, what bank? And you would say, oh, TD or Scotiabank or something like that. But actually, it could be a river bank. Sally could have been in a boat. What AI has to do is understand when you ask it a question, when you ask Siri a question, what bank are you talking to? So it's a lot more sophisticated than you'd think. And this kind of stuff is stuff that you take for granted. You all have a camera phone, some sort of phone that takes pictures, and you have this retouch pick button or something like that. You can make it brighter or darker, or it finds faces and focuses. That's all artificial intelligence too. So it's not something to be afraid of, it's actually something to welcome, because this is the future, and it's the future for our children. And what we're trying to do as a corporation, and it's something that, literally Mohammed and I met, he's my neighbor. We met walking my dog, quite literally. And we started talking about the Cyrus Foundation and helping youth. And it really attracted me, his vision, not to leave out his personality and his drive and excitement, which is amazing in itself. But the idea of young people, we can't hire somebody with 5 years experience doing the stuff that we're doing, because literally we're inventing it as we go. And we have this incredible ecosystem. And what I would hope is that everybody encourages everyone they know to get involved with it, so that we can all break new ground, do new things. And I think it starts with community efforts like this, where we start finding new people who are coming to Canada and helping them out, young people and inspiring them. It's all of these things. If we do what we always do, the results are what we always get. And those results will be old very soon. So I'd like to thank you all for coming and taking part. And I'd like to challenge you all to actually think about how you can help and how we can make the world a better place for the next generation. I think my generation, and I'm older than I look, I'm north of 50, has done a pretty bad job taking care of our share of the planet and our share of the world right now. And I think it's people like Mohammed in getting behind this that creates the opportunity for us to make sure that our children will have something and have the opportunities that were just so abundant in my generation. Thank you.
intergenerationally outside of the family home. Standing solid in the presence of change is the Cyrus Center, a community home with limitless possibilities for creating and delivering a growing need for intergenerational initiatives. A place to foster connections between young and old, and of course everyone in between. While our youth, namely teens, are described as diverse, connected, socially engaged, educated, and even civic-minded, this group needs mentorship, opportunities to fulfill their God-given potential. Cyrus is that place. While many of our youth are reaping the benefits of advantages that have been afforded to them, others face challenges such as finding a full-time job, social exclusion, cyberbullying, mental health challenges, and maybe even addiction. That said, it is important for us to be aware that they represent Canada's future parents, prime age workers, and yes, one day our seniors. Their early experiences and vulnerabilities can shape their outcomes later in life. Cyrus Center is that place that can prepare them to become tomorrow's leaders if we invest in them. Our youth are more connected than any other generation. Advances in technology mean today's teens are facing issues that no previous generation has ever seen, changing the way young people communicate, the way they learn, sleep, exercise, and express their self-esteem. While some issues are not exactly new, electronic media has changed and amplified some of the struggles young people face. Cyrus Center offers a healthy alternative to refocus our youth's energy and sense of self. 1/3 of youth with severe disabilities say they have been refused a job because of their condition. Cyrus Center is the place where they can learn new skills, become self-reliant contributors to their communities. Cultural and community infrastructure such as the Cyrus Center plays an important role in bringing people together, helping to form friendships and social support networks, home to local special interests and advocacy groups. All these attributes are essential elements in the creation and maintenance of strong communities. Canada's population is aging rapidly, with higher share of seniors than ever before. While this can present some societal changes in and of itself, it also provides growing opportunities for intergenerational relationships, since younger people have a greater likelihood of having more seniors and elders in their lives. Population aging has an impact not only on family relationships, but also on social, economic, cultural, environmental contexts in which families live. With seniors remaining in the workforce and working longer, seniors will need to learn new skills to stay in the workforce. Cyrus Center was created to be that place. Centers such as the Cyrus Center is part of a cultural and community infrastructure. It is the key to community cohesion, and investing in it's essential for health, social well-being, bringing people together, forming friendships, and social support networks, essential elements in the creation and maintenance of strong communities. Investment in human and civic assets are core foundation to economic prosperity. We have a responsibility to give our youth every chance possible and to give our seniors a sense of purpose as vital contributors to shaping our communities. Cyrus Center is that place. Help us build a better future. Help us make Cyrus more than a dream. Put your money into the future of the young. Respect the contributions of our seniors. You can make this community a better place to be young and old. Cyrus Center is where tomorrow begins. We ask for your contributions so that Cyrus Center can realize more tomorrows. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. As my bio indicates, I'm usually accustomed to participate in conferences with scholars, academics, and students, and deliver papers that are more than 45 minutes long. Today, I've had a great surprise. Instead of speaking along with academics and scholars, I am in a gathering of distinguished local politicians, Toronto politicians. Actually, as an Iranian studies scholar and academic, we have been accustomed, and I learned it really late and really hard. If you want to succeed in academic field, stay away from politicians. And now today, I'm in a gathering of all you distinguished people. I do welcome this and the challenge, but what I wanted to do originally is to present a paper that I had written on Cyrus Cylinder, the making of the Cyrus Cylinder in the 20th century. And this was a paper that I presented at the Smithsonian Institute and then the Museum of Modern Art in New York when Cyrus Cylinder, I think it was in 2013, that was visiting North America. Now I'm finding out that I have 2 or 3 minutes to speak. So what I want to tell you is that when I first came to this place, I had just finished writing on Cyrus Cylinder and the significance of it for promoting equality rights in Iran particularly, and how in the course of 1950s, 1960s, Iranian lawyers and academics worked to create and narrate an account of Iranian history which was an account of tolerance, coexistence of people of various religion, what we call multi-confessional, various ethnic groups, various linguistic groups, and all of these had become the product of really outstanding 20th century Iran. Actually, much of it was done in the aftermath of Second World War, when Iran was in a situation that Syria has been in the past few years, on the verge of total collapse. Part of Iran became the Republic of Azerbaijan, the other part of it became Republic of Kurdistan, and internally there were Iranian Aryanist, pure race conception of Iran, and then Islamic purist, and it was at this time, moment of crisis, that Iranian lawyers and academics came together and began to craft an account of Iranian civilization that was based on tolerance, acceptance of other religions, ethnic group, and languages, and it was their success that led in early 1960s, United Nations deciding to have a replica of Cyrus Cylinder that was created in 539 before Christ and discovered in 1879 to be displayed at the United Nations. Now, it was when I had written this paper that I came here first. I think it was in 2000, probably 2014. This place looked like an industrial wasteland. And Mr. Islami has put an impressive amount of energy in creating this multifunctional, and as we have seen with the gathering of people and people who have been welcoming us here, a truly multi-confessional, or what I could say, Cyrusian kind of a gathering place. What impressed me the most about what Mr. Islami wanted to do was not that as an engineer he would be able to transform this place into a well-functioning place, but it was the idea. The idea that he had, and it was right at the beginning of the emergence of this extreme nationalism, extreme religious identities that were happening, that we see on display every day today in my other country, United States. It was his understanding that what we need in Toronto is a cultural center that brings youth together, and from various cultures, various religious traditions, various linguistic grouping, and creates a place of harmony, coexistence, and learning to talk to one another. Because of the political situation that we have in Toronto, it is really easy to become ghettoized. And I think the political structure in Toronto really reinforces that ghettoization. And I was delighted to see that Mr. Islami was actualizing this multi-confessional and cosmopolitan conception by linking to one of the most enduring figures of cultural tolerance, cultural inclusivity. As I indicated, Cyrus the Great, the Persian king from 599 to 530 BC, was known for that. He learned to govern not in a Trumpian way of antagonizing the other, excluding the other, but including everyone, including people of various religious tradition. And I think this is a goal that is very worthy, and in Toronto and in Canada, that we are proud of its multiculturalism. What is important is also create condition of dialogue, exchange, coexistence, and people, while proud of their own religious tradition, their own ethnic and language identities, to be able to communicate with one another. And I think this is really one of the most important accomplishments of Mr. Islami. And I hope all of you help to make this a success. We owe it not only to our children, but we owe it to Canada for creating this multicultural space. But now we have to make sure, and I think Iranians bring this cultural capital, civilizational capital, a kind of enduring figure of tolerance that it will enable us to create that cultural dialogue of religions that we desperately need in this time of religious extremism and national extremism. And thank you very much. I don't think it was 45 minutes, was it?
Salam, خیلی خوش آمدین. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us at Cyrus Foundation first anniversary. My name is Mariam Tawana, and I have been working at TD Wealth for about 10 years. Our services include 4 main pillars: investment, tax planning, state planning, and legacy planning. As you may know, many of baby boomers, including some of you in this room, will be retiring over the next 10 years, and a huge amount of wealth will be transitioning to the next generation. What Cyrus Foundation has done, and it's been great, is to educate youth, and that's what really matters, because over the next little while, youth will be receiving a huge amount of wealth, and they need to be educated about financial. I will be briefly speaking to the youth and the role of their parents this evening, joining us about saving, investing, and building financial success. We believe that financial education should start from early ages, and this way our youth will be able to manage their financials in their adulthood. We know that they don't teach finances at school, and it's very, very important, because we're dealing with finances on a daily basis, and it's very, very important to be educated. Studies shows that the youth who start saving in early ages will be able to manage their finances more successfully in the future. I'm going to be sharing some examples with you as parents to help the younger generation to build up financial success. Some of the examples are, let's say, opening a youth bank account, encourage them to save, let's say, their AD or their Christmas money in there, or alternatively encourage them to get a job at very early age, let's say when they're at a legal age. That way they're gonna learn the value of the money and not overpay, so it's a learning progress for them. Also to help them build their credit score. We've heard this word very often these days. If we help them building their credit score, let's say by opening a credit card when they turn 18, and in the next years, once they approach financial institutions, they're going to have that score, and it will help them and allow them to borrow some money from financial institutions. Lastly, what advantage our youth have is time. And once they start saving and once we start investing in their educations, they're going to have a future success to managing their financials. At the end, I would like to thank Cyrus Foundation, especially Mr. Islami and Mr. Arjamandi, for giving me this opportunity to share some of my experiences in the financial world. Thank you all and have a great evening.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to bring to a conclusion the formal part of this program. I'd like to again congratulate Mohammed Islami for having a tremendous vision and bringing this place together, because there are going to be wonderful things happening in the years ahead. And you've heard had a little sampling of some of the discussions and some of the learning and some of the skills that will be passed down to people of all ages here at the Cyrus Foundation. I'd also like to thank my friend Merdad Arjamandi for asking me to do this, and Mohammed for agreeing to let me to do this. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end it here. There's some food across the hall, some coffee, and we will continue with music. So thank you very much.